Hey guys, and welcome back to Blockchains Unchained, your go-to channel for all the latest insights on blockchain projects brought to you by the VC firm ICONPLUS Capital. I'm Layah Heilpern. Joining me on the show today is Tim Shan, the COO of Dexalot, the very first CLOB DEX on Avalanche. Tim, welcome to the show. Great to have you. How are you today?
Oh, doing great. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's great to meet you too. I'm super excited to learn all about you. So let's just delve straight into this. For those who don't know who you are, tell us about yourself, your background, and obviously tell us as well about the core team.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I am the Chief Operating Officer of Dexalot, where I'm responsible for many things, such as business operations, legal, compliance, and strategy. I joined the team last year. Prior to Dexalot, I spent 25 years on Wall Street, starting out at a big asset management firm called AllianceBernstein, and then moved to the old Salomon Brothers, which eventually turned into Citi. Over the last 15 years, I ran operations, front-end trading, technology, risk, and compliance at a few hedge funds. And I was last COO of a global macro fund. That fund unfortunately closed back in 2019, and I was semi-retired and frankly enjoying life, playing tennis and working out and not having to do meetings. So, and then a buddy of mine introduced me to Dexalot last year. I talked to the founders who were really good guys, and I was intrigued by what they were building and felt it was sort of right, I would say right up my alley, since it was an exchange, and more importantly, I felt it was a bit of a game changer, a changer in crypto, and especially on the Avalanche ecosystem. In terms of the team, we have 15 people and growing, with 5 people in the executive team. The 2 founders are Nihat Gurman, who's our CEO, and Cengiz Dinçoğlu, who is our CTO. Nihat and Cengiz are college buddies back in Turkey, and they've been in the United States for, I believe, 25 years or so. Nihat was a chemical engineer, spent about 20 years in the oil and gas sector, and mostly working for Schlumberger. Cengiz worked on Wall Street for companies like JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley. He also did some trading, systematic trading there. And essentially, Cengiz, he's built a number of trading platforms, and essentially Dexalot is his 5th one. On the marketing side, we have Jonathan Ackerman, who's our Chief Marketing Officer. Jonathan spent 10 years in marketing at Red Bull, and prior to that, he ran his own music festival for another 10 years. And then we have a senior advisor that I can't mention his name yet, but he's going to be joining us later on this year. He's on garden leave, but he's currently at a money center bank and is head of FX algorithmic trading. So I think that the team itself is heavy in terms of Wall Street experience and corporate experience.
Yeah, definitely a wide range of experience there, and I think it's really interesting that there's a lot of traditional finance in there. So let's get into what you guys are building, what's happening. So Dexalot is essentially aiming to become the first CLOB DEX on Avalanche. So for those that don't know, can you explain what a CLOB DEX is essentially, and why that's so innovative?
Yeah, so thus far on Avalanche, the only DEXs on Avalanche are automated market makers, which serve a very specific need for the community in terms of farming and providing liquidity pools. However, there's no real way for users and retail investors to see the entire market. So there's a lack of transparency. And so a central limit order book is what you typically will see in most exchanges around the world, stocks, bonds, and commodities, right? And it's also what you sort of see in centralized exchanges like Binance and Coinbase. So essentially, it shows the user or trader the bids and offers at various prices and the depth of the market at each price. Okay? There are several benefits to a CLOB. One is transparency because you see the entire market, which is something that as an experienced trader from Wall Street, I sort of want to see the entire market, right? It gives traders the ability or the flexibility to put in market orders or limit orders and stop orders and stuff like that. And also, it provides price efficiency. There's no need to worry about price slippage since limit orders and stop orders will allow traders to buy and sell at the specific prices that they want. And lastly, I think it gives you or a trader the ability to hedge a position, right? So, for example, something that's going on right now is there's a danger of Russia invading Ukraine at any time, right? So for a trader, if they're concerned about a downside risk, they could put in a limit order below the market and basically hedge themselves, right? Then they could go to sleep and not worried about something happening in the market or Russia invading Ukraine. So yeah. But at the same time, it's very difficult to build a CLOB on a blockchain due to the lack of scalability, speed, and high gas costs. So that's why we chose Avalanche. The consensus mechanism of Avalanche really offers the type of scale, speed, and reasonable gas costs. So currently, on Dexalot, we're able to achieve a time to finality of 1 to 3 seconds. We can have as high as 4,500 transactions per second. And the gas prices are much lower than, say, blockchains like Ethereum, right? And I guess the single, what's even more important, though, is Avalanche allows us to build our own subnet, which is basically our own blockchain. And at that point, we can control gas more efficiently. So basically lowering gas, increasing the speed and bandwidth. So hypothetically, we may be able to increase the speed and throughput by 10 to 100 times. So, and I think that this part is probably the single most important feature of Dexalot in terms of speed and bandwidth or throughput, and is the main reason why I joined Dexalot.
And focusing on this, what other issues does it solve? What other unique features does Dexalot have?
Yeah, well, we are planning to do a number of things on the platform, especially ones that we're sort of used to as a team coming from Wall Street. But probably the more important immediate service that we're offering is Dexalot Discovery. So currently in the Avalanche ecosystem, when new project tokens launch on AMMs, bots front run retail investors and push prices way up. Right. Then they liquidate and basically wreck the retail investors. This is certainly not healthy for retail investors as they buy at a fairly high price and then see those tokens crash in value when bots liquidate. This also creates high gas prices when all this activity is concentrated in a very short period of time. So Discovery uses our order book technology to allow private sale investors and retail investors to find the appropriate launch price right before a token starts to trade live. And it disincentivizes bots to participate, okay? So we will be opening up an auction style platform between the time that private investors of the tokens get their tokens and when it goes live on Dexalot or an LP. This auction will basically allow the free market to work. The market will essentially be comprised of the private investors who could be sellers and buyers, and retail investors who are going to be the buyers to find that initial price. It's a fairly simple concept, and it's one that's adopted from TradFi, where you typically will see an opening and closing auction in the stock market on a daily basis.
All right, let's keep going. I know that you obviously have a token, ALOT or ALOT. Let's dive into that. I think that's always really important. What is the role of the token in the platform's ecosystem, and what kind of benefits will the token holders actually receive from joining the platform and simply just from holding?
Yeah, so there are three main benefits and uses. So the ALOT token will be used as gas on the exchange once we move to the subnet. Currently, the Dexalot is on the main net, and it's using Avalanche as to pay for gas. Two, the community, I would say that our project is very community focused. So we're offering governance to the community or those that hold the ALOT token. So ALOT holders can make proposals to the community and participate in proxy voting. So proposals could be adding new pairs or changing functionality of the GUI, changing transaction fees. So all pretty important, and I think it's important for the community or ALOT token holders to have a say in how the exchange is operated. And lastly, it will be used for validators.
Right.
Once we get to the subnet.
Understood. So that's obviously once you get to the subnet, but where are you right now? What stage are you at?
Yeah, so we actually launched our beta version on December 6th with 2 pairs. So right now, if you go to the Dexalot app, we are, you can see that the 2 pairs are AVAX USDT and AVAX USDC. We anticipate to add 10 to 15 pairs over the next 6 to 8 months. We are also onboarding a few more market makers to improve the liquidity. So the look and feel of Dexalot will improve tremendously over the next 2 months or so.
That's a quick improvement. That's exciting. We'll definitely be.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, that is a lot going on. So usage and community support is obviously very important when it comes to the success of an exchange. So do you have plans to attract more platform users, and how are you basically going to expand the Dexalot community?
Yeah. So we've been working quite a bit on this, and part of the reason why we hired Jonathan to come in and manage this whole process. So currently we have 54,000 followers on Twitter, 31,000 on Telegram, 33,000 on Discord. I think if you asked me about a month ago or 2 months ago, we would have had a third of that. So we've engaged PR firms and a number of marketing partners around the world to help get the Dexalot name out. We even have a mascot that we're going to have walking around the Avalanche Summit that's going to be in Barcelona next month. So there's a lot of stuff that we're doing on the marketing end. So all pretty exciting, and all that I think Jonathan, if he was here, will tell you about. But I'm the COO, so I'm not an expert on the marketing end right now.
No problem. So in terms of the technicalities of things, do you have any plans to go cross-chain?
Yeah, so in terms of cross-chain, I think that right now we're actively focused, or we're very focused on really Avalanche and
Right.
the ecosystem and building the Dexalot there. And I think that by the time we are even have the opportunity to think about going cross-chain, we'll likely have some bridges in place. And if that's the case, then and it's that the bridges offers a seamless way and a cheap way for users to use Dexalot, then we don't really need to duplicate it or duplicate the Dexalot on another chain. But right now, I think we're highly focused on Avalanche.
Understood. And just finally, what are the key milestones that we can expect to look forward to?
Yeah, so we are turning the governance over to the community probably around mid-year. And then the single biggest milestone will be the subnet. So we anticipate to go onto the subnet in 2 to 4 months. And we're actively working with Avalabs and already in test mode. So there's much to do there. And the subnet, once we get there, I think will truly turbocharge Dexalot and the experience that users will have from it. So.
Well, I think that's really exciting. We'll definitely have to catch up with you once that's all launched. And I just want to thank you so much for coming on, Tim. It's been really interesting hearing what's going on with Dexalot. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. And thank you everyone for watching. If you do want to find out more about Dexalot, then you can head to their website, which is dexalot.com, or just follow them on Twitter.